welcome to the news updates on AFRICUNIA television, bringing you updates from our studio in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. I am Deborah Ezeh. We begin from the Nigerian scene. A federal high court in Broja has stopped the Independent National Electoral Commission from ending voters' registration on June 30th, 2022. Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon on Monday granted an order of interim injunction following the hearing of an argument on motion ex parte filed by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project. SIRAP and 185 concerned Nigeria had early this month filed a lawsuit against INEC, asking the court to declare unconstitutional, illegal and incompatible with international standards the failure of the electoral body to extend the deadline for voters' registration to allow eligible Nigerians to exercise their rights. In the suit, SIRAP had asked the court for an order restraining INEC, its agents, privates, assigned or any other persons claiming through it from discontinuing the continuous voters registration exercise from the June 30th, 2022, or any other dates pending the hearing and termination of the motion or notice. SIRAP is also asking the court for an order of mandamus to direct and compel INEC to extend voters registration by a minimum of 3 months and take effective measures to ensure that eligible Nigerians are able to register and exercise their rights to vote in the 2023 general election. And now moving on, fuel queues re-emerged yesterday in many parts of Lagos, Nigeria commercial capital, and its neighboring Ogun and Oyo states, leaving passengers stranded across the state. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Hypeman, yesterday faulted the pipelines and product marketing companies, PPMC, for the recent scarcity of premium motor spirits in the country. The chairman Hypeman Lagos Satellite Depot, Mr. Akinriade, at a media briefing in Lagos, stated that since December 2021, not a litre of PMS had been lifted at the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation's NNPC Satellite Depot at Ejibo, leaving independent marketers to the hands of private depot who is said have increased their export price to a level no longer sustainable to sell at PMS at 165 naira. Meanwhile, majority of the independent petroleum filling stations have unofficially increased the cost of fuel from 165 naira per litre to 200 naira. They maintain that they are not certain at what cost they would get the commodity when it's eventually available at the depot. And still in Nigeria, Nigeria has fully vaccinated a total of 21,236,404 of its eligible population with COVID-19 vaccine. Executive Director of the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, who disclosed this at a ministerial briefing yesterday in Abuja, observed that from available statistics, it was clear that Nigeria is still far from achieving the set target of vaccinating 70% of its eligible population. The NPHCDA boss said that more aggressive action needed to be taken to fast-track the process to achieve herd immunity against COVID-19 infection in the country. The Director General of Nigeria's Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa, who presented updates on the state of affairs with epidemics in the country, said the center was making efforts to keep the various infectious disease outbreak at bay. While giving updates on monkeypox infection in the country, the NCDC boss said as of June 19, 41 confirmed monkeypox case and 1 death have been reported. Away from Nigeria, East African leaders agreed Monday to set up a regional force to try to end the conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo and called for an immediate ceasefire. The announcement was made by the Kenyan presidency at the end of a meeting on Monday in Nairobi of the 7 members of the East African community devoted to the security situation in the troubled region. In addition to Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, the meeting was attended by Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi, Rwanda President Paul Kagame, and as well as the leaders of Burundi, South Sudan, Uganda, and the Tanzanian ambassador in Nairobi. Now, still on the African scene, Senegal's main opposition leader on Monday called for a fresh demonstration to be held on June 29th, despite the previous one being banned and ensuing clashes leaving 3 dead. Ousmane Sonko, who came third in the last presidential election, also called on citizens to bank pots and pans in protest on Wednesday. Tensions have been growing since Senegal's highest court on June 3rd upheld a decision to disqualify the national list on a technicality. Sonko and other opposition figures who had been on the list are now sidelined from the July 31st election. The opposition has threatened to prevent the vote from taking place if the list is not reinstated. Raising fears that tensions could spill over, the opposition says some 200 arrests were made across the country during Friday's clashes. But Sonko called for their releases and encouraged young people to demonstrate spontaneously in their neighborhoods without waiting for June 29th. Away from Africa onto the foreign scene, Israeli lawmakers will vote next week to dissolve parliament, opening the way for the country's fifth election in 3 years. After Prime Minister Naftali Bennett could not contain the rising pressure on his federal ruling coalition, Bennett will step aside to be replaced by Foreign Minister Lapid, his partner in the unlikely coalition of opposites that ended former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's record 12-year rule 12 months ago. Lapid, a former journalist who heads the largest party in the coalition, will serve as the interim Prime Minister until new elections can be held. A vote will be held in Parliament next week, after which Lapid will take over the premiership, according to Bennett's spokesperson. And moving on, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres appealed on the Security Council on Monday to extend his approval of aid deliveries from Turkey to millions of people in need in northwest Syria, telling the body, "We cannot give up on the people of Syria." The UN mandate, which has allowed deliveries from Turkey to Syria opposition-controlled northwest, expires on July 10th. Syria's ally Russia argues the long-running operation violates Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity. It says more aid should be delivered from inside the country, raising opposition fears that food and other aid would fall under government control. Guterres said 80% of those in need in northwest Syria are women and children, and some 800 trucks a month deliver aid from Turkey under the UN operation, which Guterres asked to be extended for another year. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson could this week lose 2 parliamentary seats that once illustrated his broad appeal, showing his declining popularity that could spur his party to try to find a way to oust him. His Conservative Party are contesting 2 by-elections on Thursday, one in Tiverton and Oniton, a deeply conservative corner of Devon in southwest England, and another in the former industrial area of Wakefield in northern England. Support for the party is fraying in both areas and could prompt some conservative lawmakers to try to reduce the 12-month grace period between calling confidence votes. The by-elections were triggered by high-profile resignation of conservative lawmakers, one who admitted watching porn in parliament and another found guilty of sexually abusing a teenage boy. Now, still on the foreign scene, US President Joe Biden is considering scrapping tariffs on a range of Chinese goods to curb inflation, but no decision is likely before next week's Group of 7 summit. White House officials discussed options on Friday with Biden for reducing some of former President Donald Trump's punitive duties on China, including potentially substantial cuts, 3 of the sources said. The scale of any potential final move is not yet decided, they also said, and Biden advisors are poring over Trump-era tariff on hundreds of billions of dollars of Chinese food, many of which they see lacking strategic value, the sources also said. A White House spokesperson said the goal was to align the tariff with U.S. economy and strategic priorities, safeguarding the interests of workers and critical industries, while not unnecessarily raising costs on Americans. We go on a short break now, and when we come back, it's updates from the sports scene. Stay with me. And now welcome back. Now on the sports scene, Sadio Mane arrived at Munich airport at around 10 a.m. UK time this morning to undergo a medical with Bayern Munich. The Liverpool forward would then travel to a hospital to undergo medical tests before checking in a hotel and visiting Bayern's facilities. The German champions agreed €35 million deal with Liverpool to sign Mane, their top summer transfer target, last week. And also, West Ham is set to bid in the region of £30 million for Chelsea striker Armando Broja. The Hammers have identified the 20-year-old as a top striker target this summer, and Broja impressed on the season-long loan at the Southampton last season, scoring 9 goals in 38 appearances in all competition, and the Saints have also been keen to sign him permanently. And finally, Ryan Giggs has stepped down as Wales manager with immediate effect. Giggs has been on leave from his post since November 2020 and faces a domestic violence trial in Manchester on August 8th. The 48-year-old former Manchester United player is accused of controlling and coercive behavior against his former girlfriend Kate Gravely between August 2017 and November 2020. Giggs is also accused of assaulting Ms. Greville, causing her actual bodily harm, and of the common assault of her younger sister, Emma Greville, at his home in Worsley, Greater Manchester on November 1st, 2020. Giggs has denied the allegation and pleaded not guilty to all charges. The trial is set to last around 2 weeks from August 8th. And that concludes the news updates on AFRICUNIA television. Do follow all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram, Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter in their respective order. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also link us up on www.africunia.tv. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.